Welcome to this week's Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting. This meeting is held in the Jackson County Courthouse Auditorium at 10 South Oakdale in Medford. This meeting is held every Wednesday morning at 9:30 as long as a quorum of 2 commissioners is available to conduct the business of Jackson County. Your Jackson County Commissioners broadcast this meeting over Rogue Valley Television, and it's available for live streaming and review at jacksoncountyor.gov. Under the Government tab, under Recorded Meetings, click on RVTV Live Streaming. The types of business that occur at this meeting include public hearings, official voting on actions by the Board of Commissioners, presentations by departments of the county, and recognition of service that makes our county great. Agendas of the meetings are posted on the Commissioners' Bulletin Board and released on the county website and through local media in the time required for public notice. Many of the conclusions on the business presented to the Board of Commissioners have been discussed in detail and prepared by the Administration Office and staff prior to consideration at this meeting and the official vote. These prior discussions also have been properly noticed and the work done in a transparent manner. We encourage you to come and experience the process by attending any of these meetings or watch online at jacksoncountyor.gov. And now, your Jackson County Commissioners, Dave Dodderer, Colleen Roberts, and Rick Dyer, working for you.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a little after 9:30, so we will call the Board of Commissioners regular meeting for January 31st, 2024 to order. As I said, we are live here in the Courthouse Auditorium and via audio-video conference on Zoom. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if please stand and join me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll head into our request for and discussion of non-agenda items. We have a 5-minute limit. Pursuant to the codified ordinances of Jackson County, Section 213.06, members of the public may address any item not on the agenda. However, pursuant to ORS 192.640, the Board of Commissioners is prohibited from discussing a principal subject that is not on the agenda. Therefore, the Board of Commissioners will listen to your concerns and may consider the matter you raise by asking staff to follow up on any questions or by placing the matter on the agenda for discussion at a future meeting. So we have a couple people signed up here in the auditorium. First one is Laura Ahern. Can you please give your name and address for the record before speaking? Thank you.
Laura Ahern, 8595 Upper Applegate Road, Jacksonville. You featured this brochure in your office. I'm sorry, better? Try again. You featured this brochure in your office. Jackson County government is at the cutting edge of citizen involvement. Mr. Dodderer told you about my citizen involvement at the Animal Control Advisory Committee, insinuating that I was inappropriate and intimidating, that I intended to create a spectacle. Mr. Dyer, you escalated that into an inquisition. I was there as a concerned citizen and taxpayer, expecting to hear meaningful information. At every committee meeting, Animal Services has provided the shelter count. Mr. Dodderer acknowledged that for years, they've been reporting this many intakes and the live release and all these other stuff, but not this time. Instead, we heard that staff wants to change the metrics and spend an entire year thinking over whether and how to collect and report data. Mr. Dodderer, you apparently didn't recognize that a reporter was attending that committee meeting. There was an objective professional observer of what actually occurred. What were my gotcha questions? What is the live release rate for 2023 and the current shelter population? Wouldn't you ask that? I hope that you have. There is a long longitudinal data set of shelter counts. Although the county's new website is challenging to navigate, I did not find the 2023 report before that advisory committee meeting. Its existence was not revealed at that meeting. It was not shared with the committee. So I submitted a public records request, and yesterday, voila, I found the 2023 shelter count. I would hope that you would have wanted to discuss this at your staff meeting. It's unfortunate that this was not shared with the public in the advisory committee meeting because instead of being left to speculate, why did over 15% of the puppies in the county's care be put down or die last year? We might have had some understanding. Instead, we're left to also speculate, why did 45% of the puppies who survived be transferred away? Many questions. Tomorrow, it will be 1 year since citizens packed this auditorium. 27 shared with you their concerns about the animal shelter. The county administrator disclosed that the county had a conceptual design for a new shelter. The committee didn't know that. FOTUS didn't know that. The public didn't know that. I made a public records request and had to pay for an emailed file of the August 2022 ORW report. This presents the proposed facility with architectural renderings and floor plans, plus forecasts of the numbers of animals the county should be prepared to handle through 2041. My gotcha question number 2, what has been done in the wake of the ORW report? This segues to the third topic I raised, because I had in my hand these forecasts. In September, a committee member has explicitly asked that policies for when the shelter is at saturation be put on the next agenda. The committee had passed into public comment phase, and this topic had not been discussed. As soon as I noticed this, I noted this, the committee backed into their deliberations, and in fact, the Good News Subcommittee, which Mr. Dodder told you was going to work on internal shelter data collection, was converted into a body to analyze how the new building we see in the valley will attract more people with more pets and will create more demands on animal services. Ms. Dodd very carefully confirmed that that was now the new mandate of that subcommittee. Mr. Dodder didn't tell you about the final speaker, who most definitely got everyone's attention. As a healthcare professional, she explained her concern that increasing numbers of unvaccinated feral cats increase the risk that rabies will spread to other mammals, including humans. This is not a wild hypothetical. Oregon Health Authority data show rabies detections in and around Jackson County all the time. The 2021 audit of Animal Services brought this hazard and relevant statutory authorities to your attention. I personally lived during a deadly rabies outbreak in a place which the World Health Organization had declared rabies free. Humans started dying in early 2017. Local government was utterly unprepared. I stopped tracking this a few years after returning to the United States, but I felt compelled to do an update to ensure I brought you accurate information. Reported just this Saturday.
I say here you need to finish up.
I'm getting very close, but this is something
We have a 5-minute limit.
And I am responding to statements made about me.
I understand, and we have a 5-minute limit.
And I'll be very quick. Reported on Saturday, 3 more human deaths this month. A total of 71 people died, 6 confirmed because of cats. A local vet advises that in our area, cats are more likely to have contact with rabid animals than our dogs. That the county must provide dog control is not a reason to ignore its other responsibilities.
I can't let you continue on when I don't let other speakers continue on. You can come back and finish this up next week. We'll be happy to have you here. But we have a 5-minute limit, and I need to be treat
And
everyone
I'm
the same.
responding to statements that were made about me.
I understand what you're doing, but we do have a 5-minute limit, and I'm going to have to tell you for this week, the 5 minutes is up, and we've heard your concerns. You can contact any one of us directly and talk as long as you want. And you can come back next week as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Benton, I don't know if you want to respond to, as far as committees, advisory committees, what the role is, and again, as far as what the correct venue is for question and answers.
Well, so correct. So it advises. So the Board of Commissioners has adopted. I think we went through them 27 plus advisory committees to the Board of Commissioners. And their purpose is to advise the Board of Commissioners. That's generally what's in the ordinance or order which creates and adopts the committee. It's also a place for people to bring their concerns, but public comment is not a question and answer session. So the committee, and it's not an opportunity for citizens to question staff. Citizens are welcome to contact staff, but that's really more about the advisory committee is about gathering information, looking at operations of the county or other things that deal with the county, and then advising the Board of Commissioners on those types of issues.
Thank you.
And to do that job, the committee needs to receive the information.
Exactly.
They don't receive this information.
And this is not also a dog, but thank you. We'll have the next person come up, and that is Pam Allister. Please give your name and address before speaking to you. Thank you.
So good morning. My name is Pam Allister. I'm a retired grandmother at 744 Manzanita Street in Central Point. And I actually know this commissioner from time to time because I'm on the Citizens Advisory Committee in Central Point, and he visits our meetings quite often. I came this morning to share this historic American date. On this date, in 1865, the 13th Amendment was passed by Congress, later ratified December 6, 1865. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States and provided that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in any place can take place in the United States. The ratification of the 13th Amendment, 4 million African Americans, almost a third of the population of the South, became permanently free, and slavery was abolished in the United States. So in 1948, when I was 7 years old, a famous first lady of our nation said, and I'm not going to tell you who until the end, you have to guess. So she said, we must want our fellow human beings to have rights and freedoms which give them dignity and which will give them a sense that they are human beings that can walk on the earth with their heads high and look all men in the face. Indeed, in our democracy, we make our freedoms secure because each of us is expected to respect the rights of others, and we are free to make our own laws. Freedom for our people is not only a right, but it's a tool. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of information this morning, freedom of assembly. These are not just abstract ideas. They are tools with which we create a way of life in which we enjoy freedom. We recognize that we have some problems of discrimination, but we find steady progress being made in the solution of these problems. Through normal democratic processes, we are coming to understand our needs and how we can attain full equality for all people from discrimination. The development of the ideal of freedom and its transition into everyday life of the people is a product of the effort of many people, including yourself. In these generations and in each country, there must be continuation of the struggle for freedom, and new steps forward must be taken, since this preeminently is a field which, if we stand still, we are in retreat. Human rights exist to the degree that we are respected by people in relation to each other and by governments in relation to their citizens. The propaganda we have experienced in the recent past, like that we perceived in these days, seeks to undermine and destroy the liberty and independence of peoples. Such propaganda poses to all peoples the issue whether to doubt their heritage of rights and therefore to compromise the principles by which they live, or try to accept the challenge, redouble their efforts of vigilance, and stand steadfast in the struggle to maintain and enlarge human freedoms. This speech was made 28th of September, 1948, and is known as The Struggles for the Rights of Man by Mrs. Franklin D. Roosevelt, our First Lady. Thank you. What was my time?
You got in under the wire. Thank you. Okay, so no one else has signed up. Is there anyone else in the auditorium or online with their Zoom hand up?
Mr. Chair, there is someone with their Zoom hand raised.
Okay, can you bring them in, please? And then we'll come back to the auditorium if there's anyone.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, once again, my name is Brad Fry, 1054 Queens Branch Road, Rogue River.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, voting and open flow of data and information. As you know, we've all had problems getting election data. The biggest problem is the cost. Sent each one of you some screenshots of the El Paso, Colorado website for their county clerk. Through all the analytics and all of this, we've pretty much proven that the clerks are not cheating. We don't know why all these disruptions here in the mathematical analytics, and there's quite a few people, PhDs, that are doing these analytics. But the El Paso County website will help other counties in other states implement a website that they have, and that's all I have to say. I'd like to thank the county clerk. I'd like to thank the commissioner individually and as a body for putting up with me. But this is an important issue. And if you have such a website, you populate the website as soon as the election data is complete before you send it to Salem. In a open read format, and before they send it back to us in a closed read format. And I just like allowing me this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone left in the auditorium that'd like to speak today? And nobody left online?
Mr. Chair, no one else has their Zoom hand raised.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on. And we'll move on to the consent calendar, which this week consists of minutes of meetings of the Board of Commissioners regular meeting for January 10th, 2024, and the Board of Commissioners staff meeting for January 11th, 2024.
And I'll move to approve the consent calendar as read.
Second.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughter?
Yes.
Commissioner Dyer?
Yes. No public hearings today, so we'll move on into discussion and deliberation, which today consists of the first item on there is an order authorizing a charging station software as a service agreement with Flash Parking, Inc., and this is order number 22-24. Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Rogue Valley International Medford Airport, otherwise known as the airport, desires to enter into a 3-year software as a service agreement with Flash Parking, Inc. to install 2 Level 2 electric vehicle charging ports mounted to 1 dual pedestal at the airport public parking lot. Flash Parking, Inc. will provide cloud-based software, service, and maintenance, along with server hosting and support. The Flash operating system provides app-less payment processing for EV charging services. The term of the agreement is upon execution through 3 years and will automatically renew for 12-month terms unless terminated as provided for in the agreement. The financial impact of the agreement is in the estimated initial expense amount of $9,392 for the first year, which includes a one-time installation fee of $8,472. Following the first year, the agreement has an estimated annual expense amount of $920, which includes software fees of $720 and 5% of the total amounts collected, which is estimated at $200 annually.
Thank you. Any questions?
I will move approval of order number 22-24.
I'll second.
Discussion. All right, take a vote.
Commissioner Daughter?
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Dyer?
Yes. Thank you. Next item is an order authorizing an intergovernmental agreement number 6616 between the State of Oregon, Department of Corrections, and Jackson County, and this is order number 23-24.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oregon Ballot Measure 57 in 2008 was passed as a statewide approach to drug addiction intervention. It was established to meet the statutory requirement that all programs funded within the scope of the measure are guided by evidence-based practices and designed to reduce crime and drug addiction. This approach includes a balance of treatment, supervision, and a continuum of administrative sanctions. Supplemental funds have been made available by the Oregon Legislature for treatment of drug-addicted individuals as part of the implementation of Measure 57. This agreement provides funds which will be used to maintain 2 full-time parole and probation officer positions to support these programs, as well as to provide funding to the Pathfinder Network, a peer support program. The term of the agreement is July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025, unless terminated as provided for in the agreement, and requires ratification to become effective July 1st, 2023. The financial impact is a not-to-exceed revenue amount of $1,032,477 for the term of the agreement.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, I'll move to approve order number 23-24.
Second?
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughter,
Yes.
Commissioner Dyer.
Yes. Thank you.
And I did just want to say that the feedback for the public, the feedback I'm getting from the staff is that this peer support network, this Pathfinder network is really working well. It's a key component of us moving through these issues. So it's good to see that.
I've heard that as well, yes. Okay, the last item on our agenda today is an order authorizing amendment number 1 to Jackson County Personal Services Contract dated March 21st, 2023 with Periani Land Surveying, LLC, and this is order number 24-24.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Periani Land Surveying LLC is providing legal descriptions, exhibits, and preliminary staking for the proposed purchase of additional right-of-ways on miscellaneous properties along Foothill Road between Dry Creek Road and 0.85 miles north of Vilas Road. These additional right-of-way purchases are necessary to construct future roadway projects to widen Foothill Road and to improve safety along the Foothill Road corridor. The original contract timeframe did not account for enough time between the creation of legal descriptions and the staking of the proposed right-of-way locations along the project. The right-of-way and design teams have had to review, approve, draft, and distribute preliminary information for the purchase of the additional right-of-way to landowners prior to staking the proposed right-of-way. The amendment extends the contract and leaves ample time for the engineering and right-of-way teams to complete the necessary tasks so that the proposed right-of-way lines can be staked in the field. The term of the original contract is March 21st, 2023 through February 28th, 2024. And amendment number 1 will extend the term from March 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, resulting in the term exceeding 12 months and requiring authorization by the Board of Commissioners. This amendment does not increase the original maximum amount of the contract, which is the not-to-exceed expense amount of $3,980.
Thank you.
I will move approval of order number 24-24.
I'll second.
Commissioner Daughter,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Dyer.
Yes, thank you. And that does conclude our business today, so we are adjourned.
Normally, I wait until
We hope that you have enjoyed this week's Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting. If you have any questions on any part of the show, please feel free to contact your Jackson County Commissioners or staff. You can find their contact information at jacksoncountyor.gov. To review the content of this or any other recent meeting, under the Government tab, under Recorded Meetings, click on RVTV Live Streaming.
Are you turning it off?